My name is Anthony Benelli. I've been a resident of Valley Stream District 13 for over 30 years. My 5 brothers and sisters and myself, we all attended Wheeler Memorial. We graduated from Central, and we all earned more advanced degrees. I earned a Bachelor of Science in Engineering and a Master's in Administration with a focus on finance and computer science. I retired from NYPD's pension fund about 12 years ago. I was the Director of Computer Operations. I've been a city manager and more than 15 years. I served as an engineer for Kitty Corporation, at Farberware in the Bronx and Arrowlock in Brooklyn. In any event, I also served as a school trustee right here for District 13 between the years 2021 and 2024. This video, I would like to talk about a bus proposal I made to the board and to LaRocca more than a year ago. It promises to save $2-3 million a year. This chart here actually can just show you in simple terms the costs associated with us paying the vendors to pick up the children or us actually buying our own bus fleet. I was very conservative in the future costs of transportation provided by the school bus industry. And in fact, it turns out I was way too conservative. As you can see, for the predictive year 25-26, I predicted $4.3 million that it would cost us from the vendors. It's turning out that Dr. LaRocca is asking for $5.2 million for transportation, an increase of $354,000 from last year. So let me repeat that. This coming year, transportation cost is going to cost about $5.2 million. Now, as the blue line here indicates what it would cost if we had our own bus fleet. If we had purchased the buses last year, or actually if we purchased it, last year, it would cost around $5.5 million, 5.48. Call it $5.5 million. Sounds like a huge number, but check this out. The very next year, the total costs would come down to about $1.5 million. Checking this is what I forecasted last year. It's actually over $5 million. So the difference, the savings would be $3.5 million each year. $3.5 million each year. So in less than 2 years, the bus fleet would pay for itself. We would need 38 buses. But obviously, we wouldn't jump in and buy all the buses. We would have a pilot program where we would buy like 10 or 15 buses and run it through one school zone just to get the kinks out. I think it's in an incredible situation that the other night I went to the Central High School budget presentation by Superintendent Loper, and his assistant superintendent for finance actually spoke about how great it is, what a cost saving it is that they have their own, few buses providing transportation. So here we got validation from an assistant superintendent from the Central High School district saying, yeah, it's not only cost beneficial, you actually save significant money. Okay, so that's incredible. But if you go to my website, I have the actual proposal that I made to the board and to Dr. LaRocca. Dr. LaRocca said that she was committed in a Herald article of March 2024. I have a copy of that article on my website where she promises to do a cost-benefit analysis. It's not something we should just do lightly. That's basically what she was saying in the article. But I foiled for that cost-benefit analysis a year later, this past February 2025. The result is, of that foil, she never did the analysis. In fact, in her budget presentations about transportation, she ignores it, makes no mention. She's just doing what she's done the past 5 years, and that is simply give more money to the buses, to the vendors. That's it. That's her position. She claims that she got a new consultant for this consortium to see if we can do any cost efficiencies. Doubt it. They've done this every year. This is what they say every year. Let me just go over the other benefits of us having our own bus fleet. Not only is it going to save $2-3 million every year, That's money we can employ more teachers, providing more services to your children, which is incredible. I mean, we're a school district where parents have to drive their pre-K children out of town to Howell. It's absurd. We pay all the same taxes. Why shouldn't my child go locally to pre-K? The parents at Willow are saying this. People at Howell, the parents at Wheeler saying the same thing. Why should they drive their child to Howell? Well, we have money savings here, significant money savings here if we had our own bus fleet. Last summer, the parents of the children at Deaver, they couldn't go to Music in the Park in Pennsylvania, which all the kids hear about year after year, and they are so eager to go themselves. But they couldn't go last year because Principal Gruen apparently could not get busing. That's my understanding of that situation. All of those outside trips would be resolved because we would have our own bus fleet. I want to say a couple more comments about, some critics. One would be, how are you going to get bus drivers? How are you going to get bus drivers? It's hard to get bus drivers. Let me remind you, not that you've forgotten, we're saving $2-3 million a year. We can offer $10 more than what the going rate is, and we're still saving a couple of $1 million. So that's not an issue. It'd be 38 drivers. Actually, I budgeted for I think 40 drivers to provide backup for sick days, vacation, and all that. But the numbers are so incredible, so large, that it's a mute argument. The other argument or criticism you might say is, where are you going to park these buses? Another false argument. If you look at Deaver on Corona Avenue, we have one large parking lot, then we have a small parking lot. At that small parking lot, on its perimeter to the building wall, that whole area is just flat grass. That can easily be enlarged to incorporate more vehicle parking. Not a problem. Cars. More cars can park there, SUVs, not a problem. That would allow the cars that normally get parked in the big parking lot that's controlled by a traffic light to park there. And the spaces that they give up at the big parking lot, we can park the buses. Furthermore, we can turn the entrance into Deaver's parking lot off of Franklin Avenue into a one-way lane going into the parking lot off Franklin Avenue. And along that roadway, we can park 24 of these buses. Remember, if you read the proposal, I'm looking to buy the small buses, which in itself is a lot safer than those giant buses that you see flying through the neighborhood. The shuttle buses are far more safer. You don't want these big buses running around. But I'll leave it at that. Those are the two criticisms you're going to hear. Oh, where are you going to park the buses, and how are you going to get bus drivers? Both red herrings. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but it's a no-brainer. We should be having our own bus fleets. A lot of the affluent school districts have done it already. I don't know why we're not doing it. It's like we're actually giving these bus companies millions of dollars for no reason. Incidentally, I had to perform a requirements analysis. Basically, how many students are actually taking these buses. And I did it on my own at Wheeler and at Willow. Those are the only two schools I have access on public grounds. I'm not allowed on the campus of, nobody's allowed on the campus of Howell and Deaver during school hours. There's actually a policy preventing that. And I came up with the largest number was 23 students in one bus. That was it, that whole week at Willow and Wheeler. I reported that to Dr. LaRoctor and the board, and I asked her to do her own little head count, and her chart revealed that the highest head count that she got was 30 students. So clearly we are way over capacity, and we're paying for it in the millions. It's really obscene. I want to mention just a couple of the other advantages of doing our own school buses. They run for about $95,000. That was about a year ago. But let's just say they go for $100,000. We don't have to get involved in a negotiations or bidding operation. It's off the state contract. So in other words, if you, the public, wants us to do this bus proposal and the superintendent and the board agrees that this is a huge cost saving, we can get a referendum out and you vote on it. And if you say yes, we can move on buying these buses off the state contract. Bam, real straightforward. We would only do a pilot. We spend about $1 million on maybe like 10 of these buses, just to work out the kinks and learn the operation. And we can get a lot of assistance from the other schools. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can actually get a little assistance from the Central High School District. They got a few buses themselves that provide their own busing. Okay. Several of the other advantages is that we would be able to control the quality of our drivers. We would avoid any nonsense that happened at the Central High School with their bus contract, where they had a driver that raped one of our students. And if they would have done if the private bus company would have done a simple search on Google, they would have discovered 6-7 years earlier, this same individual was found sexually assaulting a 16-year-old. So he was a repeat offender. We would have control on that. We would be able to do our own background checks, assuring the quality of these drivers. Secondly, with these buses, we can actually put in requests for the design. We can implement 3-point safety belts for the children. We can also provide multiple cameras, a rear camera, a forward-looking camera, and a camera going down the steps of the bus. So there are a lot of incredible advantages of getting our own bus fleet. Also, it would be gas operated, not diesel. The diesel fumes are far worse than the regular gas exhaust. If you want to see more specifics on the bus proposal, just go to my website, vsdn13.com. It's there. The news article where Dr. LaRocca committed to doing some cost-benefit analysis, which she chose not to do, and it's my belief that she just doesn't want to do the work. She doesn't want to have the responsibility of providing transportation to your children. She doesn't want to save you $2-3 million in tax money, which could be used to hire more teachers, providing more, reducing actual class size, which she says year in and year out that, she seeks to do that, but here's an opportunity she can. We'd be saving $2-3 million. We can get, it's just absurd. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Let me just flash real quick the article on the screen. So get out of this. Here's the article right here. And here's Dr. LaRocca's comment that she needs to do an evaluation. I think you got the idea. Again, thank you for your consideration. The budget vote and the election for trustees is Tuesday, May 20th. The polls open up at 6 a.m. and they close at 9 p.m. and you can vote at your local elementary school. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Continue to contend with high costs of transportation. There is a mandate to switch to electric buses, and in New York State, this is what all districts are contending with. Even though the district doesn't have its own bus fleet, the contractors that we work with, they're preparing for that, and there is significant cost increases to that for infrastructure and for the purchase of new buses. So this is something that the board and the team will be looking very closely at over the next 3 years. We have contracted this year with a transportation consultant to look at our routes and to look at potential efficiencies. And the Southwest Quadrant bid that we participate with surrounding school districts has hired a new consultant this year to ensure that we are getting the best efficiencies and the lowest prices that are possible.